Today's lesson is Plus Talk, a trip to the optometrist. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And I'm Candice.
And today we've got a conversation between Ricky and Mia, and they are going to take a trip to the optometrist, which is kind of like an eye doctor. Of course, they don't treat your eyes if you've got serious problems with them. You'd need to see a specialist for that. But if you're just getting some eyeglasses or contact lenses, then all you need to do is visit the optometrist.
Have you ever had to visit the optometrist?
Sure, I have. I started wearing glasses when I was very small, and then I didn't wear them for many years. And then when I was in university, I got some eyeglasses again. And I've had to go back to the optometrist, I don't know, about once every 2 years or so. And my glasses now work quite fine. And the last time I got new glasses was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't really need to go to the optometrist that often. How about you, Candice?
Well, I've been very lucky not to have to wear glasses until recently. But my whole family wears spectacles. We call glasses spectacles. They all wear glasses. So it was just a matter of time for me. There are, of course, various kinds of eye doctors. But the optometrist is the one most people get to meet.
Exactly. And of course, these people are trained to fit you for glasses, eyewear, contact lenses, and things like that. And of course, optometrists are quite common here in Taiwan. Lots of people here wear eyeglasses because I guess they study so hard. But let's get to it, everybody. We've got a conversation between Ricky and Mia, and later we've got the optometrist talking as well. So let's get to it. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson. It's all about talking about eyesight. Let's listen.
A trip to the optometrist.
1. Talking about eyesight. Ricky is experiencing eye strain and has decided to ask Mia for advice.
Right. It's worse when I look at things that are far away for too long.
You might need glasses. I used to get headaches when I was younger, and it turned out my eyesight wasn't perfect. Now I wear contacts.
Huh. I never knew that about you.
That's because I haven't worn glasses in years. They made me look like a massive nerd. Plus, they got all fogged up when I drank hot coffee.
Surely there are downsides to contacts too, though. It must be weird putting something directly onto your eyeball every day.
You get used to it. But yeah, they require more maintenance.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 eyesight， 这个字是名词，指视力。例如 Alice has perfect eyesight, so she has never had to wear glasses. Alice 有完美的视力，所以她从来不用戴眼镜。或是 The old man had poor eyesight, so he no longer drove his car. 那位老先生的视力不好，所以他不再开车了。接下来我们看到名词 eye strain， 表示眼睛疲劳，像是 You should read with good lighting to avoid eye strain. 你应该在良好的照明下阅读，以避免眼睛疲劳。或是 Don't watch TV for a long time, or you'll feel eye strain. 不要长时间看电视，否则你会感到眼睛疲劳。接着我们看到单字 downside， 这个字是名词，指不利因素或是缺点。举例来说 While life in the country can be more peaceful, a major downside is the lack of job choices. 虽然乡间生活较为宁静，但它主要缺点为缺少工作机会。也可以说 One of the downsides to living in the city is having to put up with all of the noise. 住在城市的缺点之一是不得不忍受所有的噪音。另外补充这个字的反义字 upside, U-P-S-I-D-E, upside, 指好处或是有利的一面。例如One of the upsides to living alone is that I don't have to worry about others making a mess. 独居的好处之一是我不必担心别人会制造脏乱。或者 The upside to our flight being delayed was that we got upgraded to business class. 我们航班延误的好处是我们被升级到了商务舱。再来我们看到名词 maintenance， 表示维护、保养或是维持。 像是 Justin has to do his own car maintenance every half a year. Justin 必须每半年自己进行一次汽车维护。或者 I've called a maintenance worker to come fix our broken air conditioner. 我找了一位维修工人来修理我们故障的冷气。另外补充这个字的动词 maintain, M-A-I-N-T-A-I-N, maintain, 指维持、维护或是保持。例如 Many animal species coexist and maintain balance in the natural world. 许多动物物种在自然界里共存及维持平衡。或者 The money that we raise at this party will be used to maintain the museum and its collection. 我们在这个派对筹到的钱会用来维护博物馆和它的收藏。
Okay, they had a very interesting conversation indeed, all about eyesight and maybe getting glasses if you can't see well. So, of course, the title of our conversation for today is talking about eyesight, and that just basically refers to your vision, how well you can see.
Yes, and sometimes if you can't see very well, you strain your eyes and you experience eye strain. And that is what is going on with Ricky, which is why he wants to see the optometrist and is talking to Mia about his problem. So he's asking Mia for some advice because he's experiencing eye strain. Now, eye strain, if you've ever experienced it, you know that your eyes become really tired from intense or overuse. So if there's something wrong, it means our eyes have to work a lot harder, and so they become tired. Just before I had to get glasses, I used to get some headaches because my eyes were obviously working very hard.
Exactly, and I think a lot of people, of course, are suffering from eye strain these days because we need to sit in front of computers so much and we play with our phones all day long. So indeed, it's inevitable that we experience eye strain, a little bit too much pressure on our vision. And that's what Ricky is experiencing, and he's asking Mia for advice. So here's how Ricky begins the conversation. He says, right. It's worse when I look at things that are far away for too long. So here, right sort of begins this conversation, and he's talking to Mia, and he's mentioning this subject. Yeah, if I look at things that are far away for too long of a time, then my vision gets worse. And yes, indeed, that can happen because most of the time we look at things that are very close to us, our computer screens, books, smartphones, tablets, etc. So maybe when we look away at the distant mountains, that might actually hurt our eyes.
Right, so it's quite possible, Mia says, that Ricky might need glasses. She says, you might need glasses, and she shares her own experience. I used to get headaches when I was younger, and it turned out my eyesight wasn't perfect. Now I wear contacts. Now, of course, contacts is the short way of saying contact lenses, which are the little lenses that you put directly into your eyes.
Exactly. So that's what she did. She got contact lenses. She used to get headaches when she was younger, and she eventually figured it out that was related to her vision. She was getting headaches because she couldn't see well, so she got contact lenses, and now she doesn't seem to have this problem anymore. It can be a problem, of course, if you can't see things very well. You might squint when you read things. That means you kind of squeeze your eyes closely together so that you can focus them on something close. And that's not good if you're squinting all the time, and you might get headaches. But Mia has chosen not to wear glasses or eyeglasses or spectacles, but she wears contacts, which is short for contact lenses.
Yeah, and Ricky's pretty surprised to know that she has any vision problems because contact lenses are not very obvious. You don't see them. Unlike glasses, it's very easy to see someone is wearing glasses, whereas contact lenses are almost invisible. So you wouldn't know that someone had vision problems if they were wearing contacts. And Mia responds, she says it's because she hasn't worn glasses in years. So for a long time, time she hasn't worn glasses and she prefers contact lenses. And she explains why she prefers contact lenses. She says, they made me look like a massive nerd. Plus, they got all fogged up when I drank hot coffee. So, have you ever been called a nerd, Roger?
Me? No, I'm not really much of a nerd, or I've never really been referred to as that. Of course, a nerd is somebody who spends a lot of time in front of computers or working on mechanical projects or with science and things like that. And, of course, you really look like a nerd if you wear eyeglasses that have a really strong prescription. So here in Taiwan, of course, you have a different system to talk about your prescription in your eyeglasses. And let's say you have a prescription of 1,000 or higher. That means your lenses are going to be very, very thick. So if you wear thick eyeglasses like that, you're going to look kind of like a nerd. And my wife is that way. I think her prescription is like 1,200 or something like that. So when she wears eyeglasses, the lenses, of course, are quite thick.
Yes, I'm fortunate that my lenses are quite thin. I have a very light prescription. But back when I was in high school, being a massive nerd meant that you really enjoyed studying, someone who really enjoyed studying and loved books, and especially technology. So it was usually someone who was trying something on the computer, and those people were often quite shy and didn't know how to talk to other people. So they weren't really the most popular kids. But today, we don't really use the word nerd as often. I'm not sure if you've heard it used very often today, but when I was younger, that word was used almost every day to decide who was a popular kid and who was more into studying.
Indeed. Yeah, nerd does seem kind of to be behind the times a bit, but it's still around. And she says that when she wore those glasses, they made her look like a massive nerd. She looked like a really big nerd with those thick glasses. And then she says they got fogged up when I drank hot coffee. This, of course, happens a lot if you wear glasses. I've noticed this happens if you go from inside to outdoors. If you're inside a restaurant that has the air conditioning turned up really high, and then you step outside on a hot summer's day, your glasses will fog up. Fog, of course, is when there's a lot of moisture in the air, especially in the mountains. So if your glasses get covered with this kind of layer of moisture, we say that they get fogged up. And yes, your glasses will get fogged up if you drink hot coffee, if you eat instant noodles, or if you step outside on a hot day.
Fogging up of glasses anyway usually happens when the temperature changes, as you mentioned. So going from hot to cold or from cold to hot. And of course, the moisture in the air will then condense on your glasses. So for example, if you were to drink some coffee, the steam from the coffee would fog up your glasses.
Now, Ricky says, well, surely there are downsides to contacts too, though. Yes, indeed, sometimes people prefer to wear contact lenses. Mostly because they look more attractive if they wear contact lenses than if they wear glasses. But there are other reasons why people wear contact lenses. But, well, it's not that simple, of course. Wearing contact lenses can have its own problems. There are downsides, which means disadvantages. I tried to get contact lenses once many years ago, and I just couldn't figure out how to get them in my eye. I kept blinking, and finally I just gave up.
That's too bad. So you decided to stick with your glasses then. We often talk about the downsides and the upsides of something. So good and bad, the positives and the negatives, the advantages and the disadvantages. So although the downsides of wearing contact lenses are that maybe it's a little bit weird putting them directly into your eye at first, feels strange, and they do require more work to care for them. The upside of the extra maintenance, which means the extra work that you have to do to look after them, is that they are much lighter than glasses. And in Mia's case, for example, it can boost your confidence, which means that she felt better about herself when she was wearing contact lenses instead of glasses. And so most people get used to the strangeness or the odd feeling of putting the contact lenses directly into their eyes.
You just get used to it. You get accustomed to it. It seems strange at first, but the more you do it, the less strange it feels.
Yeah, so a lot of things in life require maintenance, but after a while, when we get into the habit, we get used to it.
And she says they require more maintenance, which means you need to pay attention to them more. You need to do things to them more so that they can keep on working. Like for your car, you need to perform maintenance. You need to put air in the tires. You need to change the belts and get a new oil filter and change the oil and stuff like that every so often. You need to have maintenance on your car. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first conversation for today. Now we're going to go on to conversation number 2, undergoing an eye examination. Let's listen.
2. Undergoing an eye examination. Ricky visits the optometrist to have his eyes checked.
Yes, it could be that you have myopia.
Is that something to be worried about?
Not really. It's actually quite common. Getting headaches or eye strain when looking at distant objects are both symptoms.
I see.
But let's check your vision before jumping to conclusions. We'll do some tests with different lens strengths to see if glasses will improve your eyesight. Look at this eye chart, please. Can you read the letters on this line?
Let's see. F, D, P, L, T, C, E.
Very good.
最后第二部分我们看到单字 undergo 这个字是动词，指接受检查、治疗等或是经历、忍受。举例来说 Harry is undergoing an operation as he has a stomach ulcer. Harry 有胃溃疡，要接受手术治疗。也可以说Inside its cocoon, a caterpillar undergoes the dramatic transformation into a butterfly. 毛毛虫在茧里面经历剧烈的转变才成为蝴蝶。
Okay, so the second conversation for today is all about undergoing an eye examination. If you undergo something, it happens to you. For example, if you need surgery, you will undergo an operation. And in this case, Ricky is undergoing an eye examination. He's having an eye examination.
That's right. So whenever we see a doctor, we undergo an examination. And at Ricky's eye examination, the optometrist thinks that he might have myopia. He says, yes, it could be that you have myopia. Myopia, do you have myopia?
I do, and that means you just can't see things that are far away. 近视, as you say in Chinese, myopia, and we often say nearsighted. Yes, I'm very nearsighted.
Yes, and another way to describe myopia is also short-sightedness. So it just means that you see things that are near really clearly, but things that are far away can be hard to see. So, for example, I need glasses because signs and objects further away become blurry, and then, of course, I experience eye strain and headaches when I look at those objects. So these are both symptoms of myopia.
And Ricky says, well, is that something to be worried about? Should I worry about that? And the optometrist says, well, not really. It's actually quite common. Lots of people have myopia. They are short-sighted or nearsighted, and getting headaches or eye strain when looking at distant objects are both symptoms. So when you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, the doctor will look for symptoms like coughing or a runny nose. And in this particular case, if you have a headache or if your eyes hurt when you're looking at things that are far away like mountains, well, then those are indications or symptoms of myopia.
Yes, so I was really surprised to know that myopia is such a common condition, but I suppose when you use your eyes so frequently as we do today, especially looking at computer screens and digital devices, of course, it's inevitable that your eyes are going to take some strain.
Okay, Ricky says, I see, I understand, and then the optometrist goes on to say, but let's check your vision before jumping to conclusions. Yes, indeed, we want to make sure. We don't want to conclude before we've actually had a thorough examination. And the optometrist says, we'll do some tests with different lens strengths to see if glasses will improve your eyesight. And yes, indeed, I think most of us have been to the optometrist before. You look into a special machine. They put different lenses in front of your eyes. And then you look at an eye chart, and that's what the optometrist wants Ricky to do. Yes, look at this eye chart, please. Can you read the letters on this line? And Ricky says, well, let's see, F, D, P, L, T, C, E. I should note that, at least in the United States, when you have your eyes examined, you look at the eye chart that has letters on it. But here in Taiwan, they usually have these little shapes that point up or down or left or right.
Yes, it's the same way in South Africa. We also have the E shape. It looks like an E, and it's either it's upside down or it's facing left or it's facing right. And we also have to take that eye test when we try to get our driver's license. So they test our eyes because, of course, when you're getting your driver's license, they want to make sure that you can see what's coming.
And that you won't cause an accident and harm other people on the highway. So there we go. Ricky's undergoing an eye examination, and he's going to get a pair of glasses or some contact lenses pretty soon. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Let's listen now to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在课文第一部分的对话里， Mia 说 I used to get headaches when I was younger, and it turned out my eyesight wasn't perfect. 我以前年纪较轻的时候会头痛，结果发现是我的视力不好。好，那首先要介绍的是 turn out 的用法。turn out 表示结果是怎么样，最后演变成怎么样，用来带出事情的发展或是最终结果，通常暗示着说结果和想象或预期的不同。那我们来学几个常见的用法。第一个是 it turns out。that 主词加动词，那么文中它只是用了过去式 it turned out 去接 that 子句来表达结果发现是怎么样怎么样。举例来说 it turns out that they have known each other for a long time 结果发现他们已经认识很久了。第二个补充的是 turn out to be 加上名词或形容词，其中的 to be 可以省略。那这个用法呢，可以表达说最后成为怎么样，最后被发现具有某种身份啊、特性或是能力等等。例如 The movie turned out to be a disaster 那部电影结果变成一场灾难，也就是非常糟的意思咯。好，那么再看到第三个用法是 as it turns out逗号主词加动词，那这个句型可以用来说明某事的后续发展有令人意外的结果或是情况，就类似中文说的结果是怎么样，结果证明怎么样怎么样。举例来说 As it turns out The painting is a fake 结果啊，那幅画是赝品，它是假的。好，再来呢，文中的句子里面用到 I used to 点点点来表达我以前怎么样怎么样。那同样在这段对话的最后Ricky 提到隐形眼镜也有缺点，每天把某个东西直接放在眼球上一定很奇怪。那 Mia 则是回答 You get used to it你会习惯的。好，那这边我们来整理一下相关用法。首先 used to 表示过去经常怎么样，过去一向是怎么样，这带有现在情况已不再是如此的意思。那么 used to 后面要接原形动词。举例来说 I used to drink coffee every morning意思就是我以前每天早上都会喝咖啡，这意味着现在没有这种习惯咯。好，那至于 get used to 或者是 be used to 是表达说习惯于做某事，适应于做某事，那么后面是接名词或动名词。那么 get used to 和 be used to 两者的些微差别在于 get 强调逐渐习惯于某个动作，那么 be used to 这只是用来表达习惯于某个状态。好，例如 I'm used to drinking coffee every morning 我习惯每天早上喝咖啡。有没有注意到我们先前那个例句是I used to drink 来表达我以前怎么样怎么样，这边则是用到 I'm used to drinking 来表达我习惯怎么样怎么样，两者用法不同哦。好，那再造一个例句 Henry is getting used to the weather here Henry 逐渐习惯这里的天气了。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Massive. A massive earthquake destroyed most of the city in 2011. Weird. I had a really weird dream last night, but I can't remember it clearly. Maintenance. Classic cars look great, but they require a lot of maintenance. Undergo. You can discover your own strengths when you undergo a challenge. Symptom. The doctor asked Geraldine about her symptoms.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I'm Candice.
See you next time.